by building a globally recognized curriculum to create better doctors, a partner medical school model that has since been widely accepted and recognized by renowned and established universities around the world. This would not have happened without the support and dedication of Professor Ron Harden, as well as the late Professor Ian Hart, who have helped enormously in developing this vision into reality. We also owe our gratitude to the pioneer faculty of IMU, led by Professor John Bagg, Sir Patrick Forrest, as well as our own local staff, such as Professor Ong Kok Hai, in getting the college started. The deans of partner medical schools of the then Academic Council had played a pivotal role in encouraging other medical schools to join the consortium. Today, the Academic Council, a consultative body to IMU with regards to its medical and dental programs, has evolved into a unique model and forum on medical education with representatives from medical and dental schools from Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, as well as local delegates. The Professional Education Advisory Council was later formed as we introduced other programs such as pharmacy, dentistry, and health sciences, in which the membership also comprised of both senior academics from our partner universities as well as local senior academics to provide advice and guidance to IMU on all matters regarding the education and training of students enrolled in the undergraduate, postgraduate, and continuing professional development programs of IMU. Both the AC and PEAK have since been cross-represented to ensure the highest of standards and quality of medical and health sciences education is delivered and aligned to the vision and mission of IMU. And it is through the passion, the commitment, and support of these individuals in making a difference and creating an impact, not only in IMU, but also in their own right and capacity, that IMU is pleased to confer honorary doctorates to our other 6 recipients, namely the late Professor Karen Mann, Professor Trudy Roberts, Professor Nicholas Glasgow, Professor James McKillop, Professor Richard Hayes, and Professor Dr. Mafazi Muhammad, each of whom has contributed enormously to the growth and establishment of IMU through their membership of the Academic Council and PEAK. At IMU, our goal has always been to further develop medical and health sciences education in Malaysia, where IMU will shoulder the responsibility to nurture the best medical and health graduates with the core values of IMU, professional ethics, and altruism ingrained in them. In the words of our President Tan Sri Bubakar, basic knowledge and skills won't be enough. Our challenge will be to continue to produce healthcare professionals that are research-driven and patient-focused, healthcare professionals who are holistic, who look to the now with a firm eye on the future, and healthcare professionals who recognize that it's not the system that serves them, but they who serve the system. Ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate our 25 years of providing the best medical and health sciences education, it is also our responsibility to ensure our students are strongly grounded in ethical practice, wisdom, and humility. I am certain that for as long as we stay focused on our mission, there'll be many more milestones to carve where we can proudly say that IMU is instrumental in shaping the future of Malaysia's healthcare profession, and that our students will lead the way of 21st century healthcare. Once again, I would like to offer our deepest thanks to the recipients of the honorary doctorates for your unconditional contribution to the university in paving the way for us to achieve all that we have over the past 25 years. Thank you.
Conferment of the Honorary Doctor of Science. May we invite Dr. Mei Ling Yang to read a citation on Tan Sri Datuk Dr. Kamal Saleh, the recipient of the Honorary Doctor of Science IMU.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. I think I've been selected for this, not because I know Kamal for the longest time, That belongs to my husband. They were in school together from 15 years old in the Royal Military College. But I can say that I probably know him the best. We worked together professionally for a long time. We had lots of arguments and fights over how papers should be written, how projects should be done. And I think most important, we were the two among the three that started the IMU. Well, Tan Sri Dato Dr. Kamal Saleh, a gifted visionary social scientist. He's one of the three founders of the International Medical University, then called IMC, in 1992. The mission is to provide Malaysians an opportunity to realize their own dreams of becoming doctors and healthcare professionals. Born in a small village in Perak in 1946, Kamal earned his Bachelor of Arts with first-class honours from Monash University, Australia, in 1969. He obtained his master's and doctorate from the University of Pennsylvania, USA, in 1972 and 1973, respectively. All these were on scholarships, which he very well deserved. Kamal returned to Malaysia in 1973, enthusiastic to make changes, and served as a lecturer in the School of Humanities in University Science Malaysia. He quickly rose to being Deputy Dean of Humanities, because then he was a geographer, and later Dean of the School of Social Science at the USM. Finally, becoming the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic Affairs in 1982. As well as his academic career, Kamal was also actively involved as a consultant to the Malaysian government and the United Nations Center for Regional Development in Japan. One comment I like to make, too often as academics, we tend to be cocooned in a world where we do a lot of academic work. But what was great about all this was that he transformed a lot of his academic work, as you will see later in the citation, to policies with the government. So having carved a name for himself as economist and regional scientist, Kamal was involved in various state government planning committees and played a major role as a consultant to a very powerful department in the government called the Economic Planning Unit, directly under the Prime Minister's Department, on regional development policies for the Third Malaysia Plan. Now, the Third Malaysia Plan was a very bold effort because it was trying to transform Malaysia by doing two important things. One was to eradicate poverty, and the second was to restructure society, meaning to not only to uplift the economy of the people, but to ensure that there was sectoral change and geographical change in the community. That gave birth to the famous New Economic Policy. He later served as a member of the Prime Minister's Economic Panel between 81 to 86. He left USM and founded the think tank, Malaysian Institute of Economic Research, in 1986. He retained his interest in the government and in business, being in the Malaysian Business Council between 91 and 96, and was the Rapporteur General of the first National Economic Consultative Council between 89 and 91. Now that was important because that gave the directions to the next phase of the new economic policy, which then changed its name to the New Development Policy. In other words, they'd done all these things for 20 years. So now what do we do to add on to that? He was an economic advisor to the National Implementation Task Force, a high-level group of experts under the Prime Minister's Department from 2006 to 2008. Kamal is a true academic at heart. He has published widely in the area of regional development and policies, this thing called growth poles, which meant you bring development to underdeveloped areas and make them an attraction to draw more development and industries. So you hold the rural population in those areas. So he was a real expert on growth poles and the whole issue of unequal development. How do we make poor areas better off? The electronics industry and the International Division of Labor. At that time, Penang was number 2 in the world for semiconductors. So we were in a lot of research in the area of the semiconductor industry and how the girls, were they being exploited? What was this in relation to international capitalism? Okay. He was also involved in urbanization and poverty. Now he's currently an adjunct professor of economics and development at the University of Malaya and a senior technical advisor at the United Nations Development Programme in Malaysia. Kamal's strength is in his ability to pull together ideas, synthesize them, and create something wildly exciting out of that. Through meetings, he will close his eyes, and all of us think he is asleep. At the end, he is asked to summarize what had happened at the conference, and he just does it beautifully. Perfect in the realm of ideas, he continues to do what he loves most: to read, write, and be allowed to be imaginative. Yang berbahagia, Datuk Chancellor, I present Tan Sri Datuk Kamal Saleh for the conferment of the Doctorate of Science.
By the power bestowed upon me, I hereby confer the Honorary Doctor of Science to Tan Sri Datuk Dr. Kamal Saleh. Congratulations. Yeah, all the best to you.
Conferment of the Honorary Doctor of Medical Education. May we invite Professor Vishna Devi Nadaraja to read a citation on the late Professor Karen Mann, the recipient of the Honorary Doctor of Medical Education, IMU.
I'm really honored to be able to share my memories and share the achievements of my dear friend and mentor, the late Professor Karen Mann. Professor Karen Mann was an illustrious but very humble scholar with over 50 years of progressive contributions in the field of medical education. She received her Bachelor of Science in Nursing from Dalhousie University. She later pursued her postgraduate studies there, graduating with a Master's of Science and later with a doctorate in education. She began her career as a nursing instructor at the Victoria General Hospital in Halifax. In 1986, she joined the Faculty of Medicine at Dalhousie as a director of the Medical Education Unit. Later in 1995, Karen became the founding head of division of the medical education at Dalhousie University and was promoted to professor in 1997. Widely respected, Karen assumed numerous national and international leadership roles in medical education. This includes the presidency of the Canadian Association for Medical Education. She was also the chair of research in the Research Planning Committee, chair of the Group on Educational Affairs, and chair of the International Editorial Board of the prestigious journal Medical Education. She was also professor and part-time chair of medical education at the University of Manchester, UK. For us at IMU, she was a member of the Professional Education and Advisory Committee, but the time that we really got to know Karen was when she came to spend a month with us as the second Ron Harden visiting professor at IMU. Her contributions to IMU is so significant, especially in the field of faculty development. One of the reasons that we at IMU will deeply miss Karen is because she recognized people. And, recognized for her relevant and impactful contributions, Karen received numerous awards, including the Distinguished Contributions to Medical Education in 1996, a Dalhousie Instructional Leadership Award in 2000, the 2005 Award for Contributions to Medical Education Research from the Society of Academic Continuing Medical Education, and in 2007, she was awarded an honorary membership in the College of Family Physicians of Canada. Karen was also awarded the notable Merrill Frere Award for Distinguished Contributions to Medical Education in North America. Her main research interest was in self-assessment and feedback, as well as faculty development. She also had a lot of interest in experience-based learning and interprofessional education. Throughout her career, she was involved in over 65 research projects, authored more than 160 research papers with more than 5,000 citations. She contributed to over 30 monographs, book chapters, proceedings, and learning modules. She also tirelessly served on the editorial board of a number of international medical education journals. In addition to her outstanding record of leadership and research in medical education, she was held in great affection by the medical education community. This is because Karen was also a person full of kindness, had a great sense of humor, and showed gentle fearlessness when advocating issues related to medical education. Karen believed passionately in the power of educational research and theory to strengthen both medical education and healthcare. To Ian, her 3 children and grandchildren, Karen will be deeply missed at IMU. She will always be remembered fondly as a strong woman, soft yet powerful, practical, compassionate, and full of integrity. To me, I have lots of wonderful memories of a friend and a role model. I received many invaluable gifts from her in the form of ideas, thought-provoking discussions, and motivation to succeed. She gave me a fountain pen as a present once. Maybe she saw me borrowing pens from others. And she said, you know, Vishna, as a future leader, you need to have a good pen. So I treasure it. And I think each signature I put on paper with that pen is a blessing from Karen to me. Karen once wrote, medical educations today are preparing learners for professional roles they will enact tomorrow and are seeking to develop professionals who are competent, self-aware, able to monitor and self-assess their performance, and to continue learning throughout their practice lifetime. Karen, to me and to many people in IMU, is an exemplary role model of professionalism in medical education.
By the power bestowed upon me, I hereby confer the Honorary Doctor of Medical Education to Professor Karen Mann.
We would like to invite Dr. Ian Mobbs, the husband of the late Professor Karen Mann, to receive the conferment of the Honorary Doctor of Medical Education. Conferment of the Honorary Doctor of Medical Education. May we invite Professor Victor Lim to read a citation on Professor Trudy Roberts, the recipient of the Honorary Doctor of Medical Education, IMU.
Trudy Roberts. Yang Berbahagia Dato' Chancellor, I'm privileged and honored to read this citation for Professor Trudy Roberts. Professor Trudy Roberts is the director of the Leeds Institute of Medical Education, or LIME. Trudy graduated from the University of Manchester in 1979 with a degree in medicine and a BSc in anatomy. She trained as a physician and obtained her MRCP in 1982. She then undertook research in transplant immunology at the Karolinska Institute in Sweden and was awarded her PhD in 1987. In 1995, she was appointed senior lecturer in transplant immunology at the University of Manchester, but switched to medical education, and in 2000 was appointed Professor of Medical Education at the University of Leeds. Trudy has been very active in professional activities, being a council member of the General Medical Council of the United Kingdom, the chair of the Association for the Study of Medical Education, and a council member and censor for the Royal College of Physicians of London. In 2013, she became the president of the Association for Medical Education in Europe. Her main research interests are in the areas of assessment of competence, professionalism, and transitions in training and education. Trudy has been a friend of IMU for many years, having served as a member of the Academic Council of IMU, and more recently, the chair of our Professional Education Advisory Committee. We cherish her visits to IMU, where she expresses her opinions honestly, but always with a generous infusion of wit and humor. We value her advice, which is always pragmatic and given only after taking into account the constraints that we face. On a more personal note, Trudy expresses a deep love of Malaysia and fondness for soft-shell crab. She is an expert on the graveyards of Scotland and has written papers and given lectures on this subject. She dreams of owning a Subaru WRX. Now, not being a car enthusiast, I had to consult Google what this is. I can now tell you that the WRX is a turbocharged monster that churns out 350 horsepower and takes you from 0 to 60 miles an hour in 4.7 seconds. So now we know who Trudy really is. Yang Berbahagia Dato' Chancellor, I have the honor and privilege to present to you Professor Trudy Roberts for the award of the degree of Honorary Doctor of Medical Education, IMU.
by the power bestowed upon me, I hereby confer the Honorary Doctor of Medicine of Medical Education to Professor Trudy Roberts. I know more about you today. Congratulations. You've been great help for us.
Conferment of the Honorary Doctor of Medicine. May we invite Professor Peter Pook to read a recitation on Professor Nicholas Glasgow, the recipient of the Honorary Doctor of Medicine, IMU.
Yang berbahagia Chancellor, when we were told there's going to be a special conferment, and we were told we have to read the citations, I'm glad that I picked Nick Glasgow. We were allowed to choose for once. The Vice Chancellor allowed us to choose, so I better enjoy that privilege. Indeed, it is a great honor that I've been allowed to read Nicholas John Glasgow's citation. Professor Nick Glasgow, or he's more fondly known, rather than Nicholas John Glasgow, his mother would call him, is a very experienced general practitioner and palliative care medicine physician. He graduated with his Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery in 1981, and later obtained his Doctor in Medicine, MD, in 1999 from the University of Auckland. Nick, as many of us would know, is a highly respectable national leader in the field of health and medicine. His passion for teaching and learning was also evident when he later obtained his graduate certificate of education studies in higher education from University of Sydney in 2002. Nick has held numerous senior appointments. When I was asked to read his citation, it was, you just look at his appointments, there were reams and reams and reams of paper. See, these appointments were at at the University of United Arab Emirates, the University of Sydney, and the Australian National University. Throughout his career, humble Nick won many research and development funds. And IMU staff, please do not squirm. It's funds to the excess of $25 million. Over 4 million of these funds are in the NHMRC grants, in which he is named as a principal investigator. His love for research include asthma, respiratory health, chronic disease care, end-of-life care, I know where to go to when it comes to me, health systems research, including health workforce research, and of course, his passion, the scholarship of teaching and learning. Nick has authored over 70 peer-reviewed publications and is regularly invited to speak at national and international meetings in relation to his research, education, and leadership interests. But he always finds time to come to IMU. His wide experience spans across all aspects of curriculum development, approaches to teaching, assessments and evaluation of educational programs across the vertical continuum of medical education. In 1997, Nick received the Excellence in Teaching Prize, which was awarded by the University of the United Arab Emirates. Later, in 2011, he was awarded the Top Supervisor Award by the Australian National University. For those of you who may not know, Nick has twice been a Harvard Macy Scholar. To be one is great difficulty, but twice. In addition to his service, he is very active in various professional and health service committees of organization. And he is very well known for his effective and consensus building chair. Many of us will personally know that during his chairing sessions in IMU, Nick has always been very approachable, friendly, and kind. In 2011, Nick was appointed by the Federal Minister of Health to be a member of the National Lead Clinicians Group. He served as acting chair of this group for 18 months until the incoming federal government disbanded it in 2014. Professor Nick John Glasgow is an excellent teacher, primary healthcare researcher and leader within the primary healthcare team, university and administrative settings. At the International Medical University here, Nick joined the Academic Council as a member representing the Australian National University in 2008. Since then, he has worked tirelessly for us here in IMU, and he was appointed as chair of the Academic Council since 2015. We thought after John Simpson and colleagues and Chris Stevens sitting here, we thought everyone would be late for the bus, but Nick Glasgow managed to get everybody on the bus. So John, you have trained all your protege very well. Nick played an extremely vital role in working closely with the IMU to get ANU recognized by the Malaysian Medical Council in 2009. This recognition allows Malaysian medical students graduating from ANU to practice in Malaysia. Yang berbahagia Dato' Chancellor, I present Professor Nick John Glasgow for the conferment of the Honorary Doctor of Medicine.
By the power bestowed upon me, I hereby confer the Honorary Doctor of Medicine to Professor Nicholas Glasgow. Congratulations. That was a long list.
Conferment of the Honorary Doctor of Medicine. May we invite Professor Abdul Aziz Baba to read a citation on Professor James McKillop, the recipient of the Honorary Doctor of Medicine, IMU.
James McKillop. Professor James McKillop, who is fondly known as Jim McKillop, graduated with first-class honors in 1970 with a Bachelor of Science in Physiology from the University of Glasgow. He later obtained his MB.Sc.B. with honors in 1972 and his doctorate in 1979, also from the University of Glasgow. He received his fellowship at the Royal College of Physicians in Glasgow in 1986, Edinburgh in 1990, and London in 1992. As an expert in the use of radioactivity in the diagnosis and treatment of disease, he was appointed as the Muirhead Professor of Medicine at the University of Glasgow, a position he held from 1989 till 2011. Having served as a clinical academic for more than 35 years, Jim loved the challenge of clinical practice and research in the development of new diagnostic and therapeutic procedures. With a special interest in acute medicine, thyroid diseases, and nuclear medicine, Jim had published over 200 peer-reviewed publications, one of which is the notable Tomorrow's Doctors, 2009. This publication, as I'm sure all of you will know, was used to set standards for all 32 UK medical schools. Jim believes strongly in promoting realistic opportunities for others who have disabilities in medicine. This has been achieved to work with the General Medical Council, with other bodies such as the Higher Education Occupational Practitioners Group. Jim has also won numerous awards, including the Most Inspiring Clinician Award from the Glasgow Medical Students, and one of 35 role models in academic medicine identified by the British Medical Journal, Honorary Fellowship of Academy of Medical Educators, and the BMJ Award for Excellence in Teaching and Learning. Throughout his career in medical education, Jim actively served in various academic boards and councils, including the GMC, where he was also chair for the undergraduate board, the audit, and the risk committees. He's also an external advisor to medical schools and medical regulators in the UK, Sweden, Malaysia, Singapore, Brunei, Japan, South Korea, and Australia. Jim was a member of the Academic Council for IMU from 2003 till 2007. In 2013, Jim became a member of the Professional Education Advisory Committee PIC for IMU and continues to contribute and provide guidance to IMU on all matters pertaining to the educational and training of students enrolled in the professional undergraduate, postgraduate, and CPD programs of IMU. On a personal note, Jim was a mentor and supervisor to me during my postgraduate training days in Glasgow more than 30 years ago. I was able to witness firsthand not only his superb clinical skills, but the humanity with which he brings to his medical practice. Jim is truly a role model to emulate. Thank you, Jim. Yang Wagi Datuk Chancellor, I'm privileged and pleased to present to you Professor James McKillop for the conferment of the Honorary Doctor of Medicine.
By the power bestowed upon me, I hereby confer the Honorary Doctor of Medicine to Professor James McKillop. We're proud to have you at our
Conferment of the Honorary Doctor of Medicine. May we invite Professor Toh Chui Gate to read a citation on Professor Richard Hayes, the recipient of the Honorary Doctor of Medicine, IMU.
Richard Hayes, Yang Berbahagia Datuk Chancellor, it is indeed an honor and privilege for me to prepare the citation for Professor Richard Hayes, although it was no easy task. I was provided with a few A4 pages of his brief CV and told to summarize it into 350 words. I will try my best, so please, giving you just a flavor of the remarkable achievements of this man. Professor Richard Blaxland Hayes, after graduating with MBBS from the University of Queensland in 1976, spent the early years of his career as a clinical general practitioner in northern Queensland before becoming a full-time academic in 1991, when he took on the post of senior lecturer in the Department of General Practice, University of Sydney. Professor Richard Hayes later obtained his doctorate from the James Cook University of North Queensland in 1991 and received his higher doctorate in medicine, from the University of Queensland in 2004. He also has several professional qualifications, including the Diplomate of the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, Fellow of the Royal College of General Practitioners, Fellow of the Australasian College of Tropical Medicine, Fellow of the Australian College of Rural and Remote Medicine, Fellow of the Academy of Medical Education, and that is just to name a few. Professor Richard Hayes had played a key role in the development of several new medical education programs, including James Cook University in Australia, Keele University in the United Kingdom, and Bond University in Australia. As Foundation Dean, he was responsible for the educational development and accreditation of the School of Medicine, James Cook University, which in 1999 was the first new Australian medical school to open in 26 years, with a new curriculum reflecting regional healthcare and workforce needs. As one of Australia's leading experts in medical education, Professor Richard Hayes had visiting academic engagements to many universities in North America, such as Southern Illinois University, in British Columbia, Europe, in the UCL, Cambridge, Tromsø, and Limerick, in Western Pacific, such as the Fiji, and Asia, China, Hong Kong, and Malaysia. He has also participated in many international medical education quality assurance reviews. At the International Medical University, Malaysia, Professor Richard Hayes has been a visiting academician since 2013. His extensive contribution is seen as a member of the Professional Education Advisory Council. He is also actively involved in the review of programs and its quality of delivery. Throughout his career, Richard's research interests include curriculum and assessment practices that deliver particular workforce outcomes with a strong social accountability focus. This overlaps strongly with his rural health service delivery and program evaluation interests. He has been awarded about 3 million Australian dollars in competitive research and development grants and has published approximately 105 research papers in peer-reviewed journals, 270 other journal articles, book reviews, and published abstracts and 8 books, primarily on assessment, curriculum design, and educational quality assurance. Today, this morning, when asked, Professor Richard to share some secret, he shared that he had actually a secret ambition to be a novelist since his teenage years, but considered medicine would be a better choice of career for a steady income. However, all is not lost, as he intends to realize his hidden ambition after retirement by writing and publishing murder mysteries. He still loves leading change based on medical education development and remains in part-time clinical practice. He is also currently the chair for the Tasmanian Rural Medical Generalists Coordinating Council and editor for the MedEd Publish based in the UK. Yang Berbahagia Datuk Chancellor, it is my honor to present Professor Richard Hayes for the conferment of the Honorary Doctor of Medicine.
By the power bestowed upon me, I hereby confer the Honorary Doctor of Medicine to Professor Richard Hayes.
Conferment of the Honorary Doctor of Medicine. May we invite Datuk Q. Siang Tong to read a citation on Professor Datuk Dr. Mafauzi Mohamad, the recipient of the Honorary Doctor of Medicine, IMU.
Mafauzi Mohamad. Yang Berbahagia Datuk Chancellor, I'm very honored to present to you the citation for Professor Datuk Dr. Mafauzi Mohamad. Professor Datuk Dr. Mafauzi Mohamad is currently an honorary professor of medicine and senior consultant endocrinologist at the University of Science Malaysia. He was formerly the assistant vice chancellor, director of campus, director of hospital, and dean at the same university in Kelantan, Malaysia. Professor Mafauzi was a Colombo Plan scholar and obtained his MBBS from the University of Adelaide, Australia in 1980. He went on to specialize in internal medicine and received his MRCP UK in 1985. He obtained his Master of Medical Science degree from the University of Sheffield in 1987. He became a lecturer in USM in 1987 as well and was promoted to be an associate professor in 1992. And in 1996, he was admitted as Fellow of the Royal College of Physicians, Edinburgh. And in the year 2000, he was promoted as full Professor of Medicine. Professor Mafauzi is actively involved in the field of endocrinology and diabetes. He served as an examiner for the Royal College of Physicians, United Kingdom, and has been invited numerous times by IMU and several universities as external examiner for professional examiners, for a professional examination at both undergraduate and postgraduate levels, and also as master and PhD thesis examiner. IMU is very fortunate to have Professor Dr. Mafauzi Mohamad as a member of the Professional Education Advisory Committee, PEAK, since the year 2009. He is in fact the only member from a Malaysian public university. He continues to serve in this committee and provides guidance and advice to ensure the programs at IMU are of high standards. Professor Dr. Mafauzi is also actively involved in research and has to date obtained over 110 research grants, mainly in the field of diabetes, dyslipidemia, and thyroid disorders. He participated in many clinical trials, including cardiovascular and renal outcome trials, mainly relating to diabetes and metabolism. He has supervised over 25 postgraduate students and has published and presented numerous papers in national and international journals, as well as in national and international meetings. He has been a chief editor of the Malaysian Journal of Medical Sciences, Journal of ASEAN Federation of Endocrine Societies, and Journal of Endocrinology and Metabolism. He is also a council member of the Malaysian Medical Council since 1994 and is actively involved in accreditation and recognition of medical programs by the Council and the Malaysian Qualification Agency. Yang Berbahagia Datuk Chancellor, I'm honored and privileged to present Professor Dr. Mafauzi Mohamad for the conferment of Honorary Doctor of Medicine.
By the power bestowed upon me, I hereby confer the Honorary Doctor of Medicine to Professor Dr. Mafauzi Mohamad. Congratulations.
Acceptance speech. May we invite Professor Trudy Roberts to give a speech on behalf of all the recipients.
Well, what a pleasure to be here. And even my own mother wouldn't recognize me in this. So what can I say? After 12 years of staying at the Mandarin Oriental, they gave me a dressing gown. But it doesn't compare to this, does it really? I know that this is being recorded, and I can't imagine it will go viral, but it might go fungal, which is that level just below. Some years ago, Ronald Harden told me that a lecture of his had been seen by 20,000 people who clicked onto it. I told him that 2 kittens playing had been reviewed by 63 million people. And my advice was to be more cute next time. But I can't be cute. But I think the first thing I need to acknowledge is how much we miss our colleague Karen Mann. Karen was a great friend and supporter of IMU, as Ian knows. And I can imagine her looking down upon this day and being delighted with what's being said about her and her contribution. So I think that we all miss her still, of course. I've been given the privilege of replying on behalf of us all and to say how delighted we are to be awarded these degrees by IMU. We know that the university does not give these awards lightly, and we feel humbled and honoured to receive them. IMU, of course, as we all know, is unique in what it's achieved. And last night I was privileged to sit beside your Chancellor at the 25th anniversary celebration. I have to say it didn't start off terribly well, as I sat next to this distinguished man and said to him, "And what do you do here at IMU?" And in a quiet voice he said, "I'm the Chancellor." It's not easy to come back after that, really, but I did try. It was a delight, however, to hear from him about his long-standing interest in medical education, and it was clear from listening to him that he'd taken a student-centred approach from the very early part of his career, and that his enlightened understanding of learning has actually influenced what's happening here and has happened here at IMU. It would be wrong of me not to pay real attention and honour to the visionary work by Kamal, who's got in the honour degree of the Doctor of Science today, Mei Ling Young and Ong, who've been supported by Tan Sri Abu Bakr over the years. And they've really helped to build IMU into the model that we see today. It would be invidious really to name individual staff, as I'm sure that I'm bound to miss out someone because of my nervousness in giving this reply. However, I think I must mention senior faculty who are clearly exceptional. Professor Victor Lim, in finding out more things about me than my mother knows herself, and Professor Peter Pook and Professor Q, of course. We're proud as a group, really, to have played a small part in IMU's success. And looking at the journey that IMU has made in the last 25 years, I think that many of us are envious of what you have achieved. IMU's standing around the world is very high, and this is due in no small part to the high calibre of IMU students who transfer to the partner schools. But it's also due to the impression you've made on the attending deans and medical education lists, both at AC and at the IMEC meetings. Finally, I know, because of my connection with Amy, the high regard in which the scholarship and research undertaken by IMU staff here is held in the world at large. They regularly present their work at on the scholarship of medical education at Amy conferences and other events. So in closing, I want to reiterate the thanks of the group for this honour that you've bestowed upon us. We're absolutely delighted and humbled by your generosity, and we look forward to working alongside you for the next 25 years. Thank you so much.
Adjournment of the special conferment ceremony by Yang Berbahagia Datuk Chancellor.
I hereby declare the special conferment ceremony of the university adjourned.
Negaraku, audience to stand. Members of the Academic Council are kindly advised to proceed to the driveway at level ground floor. Your transport to the hotel is waiting for you. The bus at the hotel will wait until 7:30 to depart to Dr. Meiling's house for barbecue dinner. And refreshment, all guests are invited to Dewan Chancellor for refreshment. It'll be good refreshment though. Thank you.